It was awesome. It was great to see some of those young guys take advantage of an opportunity. I thought Shep put together a great game plan, chance for those guys to play fast, be aggressive, and obviously they showed up when the lights were bright. So it was good to see. I mean, guys like Eric Hallett, who for most of training camp played corner and nickel, and then didn't get a rep, probably in a real defensive call until last week, playing safety. To see him go out and play 50 plays at safety and 14 or 15 plays at nickel was awesome. Lawrence Strickland got in there, and they all made plays. He had a big play at the end of the game. It was good to see Thomas Harper. I thought he did some good things in the deep part of the field. It was really good to see him come downhill and make that knife tackle on that counter play. So some things that, some boxes that we were empty, we needed to get checked to find out about him as a player. I thought he did that. And then guys like Whiteside and Arthur Millett, Art going in there. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
There was a play where Hallett was in a cover 2 and rotated down when I think Mullet got picked off and forced the QB to hold on the ball into a sack. That seemed like a really advanced play for a guy that hasn't, seen a lot of reps.
Yeah, I think one of the things with him is just his instincts and his ability to see the field. So, if we're talking about the right play, it was a drive route coming from the field. He was in the deep part of the field. He kind of felt the runaway, and you saw him trigger, and it was an outstanding tackle. He did some really good things. So really good things.
Just curious, with Eric and Lauren specifically, they were here last season. They kind of saw the injuries to the rest of the defense and the opportunities that could present. How do you think that helped them maybe get acclimated or just get ready for the game, having seen all their teammates and even, in the secondary do that last season?
Yeah, I think that the culture of this place does a great job kind of. If you're here, you're expected to play. You're expected to be ready to play, and you're expected to hold the standard. So, and I think that the coaching staff does a great job not flinching if those guys have to go in the game. I've been places where, we'd actually have a stuffed dog, and we'd always say, if you're scared, get a dog. And there'd be a lot of coaches that would have got the dog last week, and nobody on our staff flinched, going into that game. So, but it says a lot about those guys too, because they don't get a lot of reps throughout the week of practice, or so they got to get their reps on the scout field, and they got to get the mental reps, and those guys went in there and they performed and they played well.
Was there a prior experience in your career that you were able to draw from in terms of being down 4 starters in your secondary, and just where you begin to process building a game plan from there?
I don't know if I've ever been down 4 starters. I mean, I've been in some places where we've had moved safeties to play corner, in my experience. I don't know if I've ever been down 4 starters, but one of the first lessons I learned from Rex Ryan when I was a younger assistant coach is he told me, you're not going to be evaluated by your starters, you're going to be evaluated by how your backups play. And that's always kind of stuck in my head. And I think our whole entire coaching staff does an unbelievable job coaching everybody on the roster. So when we get in those situations, and just in the year and a half that I've been here, we, especially on defense, we've been decimated at every level of the defense, and guys have stepped up and gone in and played at a high level. So I think it's just, it's credit to the players, it's credit to the coaches, it's credit to the play callers building the game plan. So, but I can't remember being without all 4 starters.
Sorry, you got Brian back from suspension, obviously.
Yep.
How, if at all, do you think that will change him, has changed him, just mentality-wise, or?
No, I think you'll get an even more motivated Brian Branch. So I'm really excited to see how he takes the field on Sunday when he comes out of the tunnel. But it's great to have him back. He's one of my all-time favorite people, all-time favorite players that I've ever coached. So it's I love his competitive spirit. So I'm excited to get him back out there.
Talk to him later about this too, but what do you think it meant to him that all of those DBs wore his jersey, kind of supported him like that?
Yeah, all the coaches did too. Yeah, I had my 32 jersey on. Deshae had his on. DT had his on. But no, I mean, I think that we would do that for any of our guys. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that goes through adversity. But
Dan had the offense really study third downs. I'm just curious from your guys' perspective, what was there a big picture thing you guys studied?
You're talking about over the bye week. Yeah, I think that one of the things Shep and I meet about every week are some of the tendencies that offenses might be attacking on us. So, for example, what are we calling on second 1 to 3? What are we calling on second 4 to 6? Are we creating a tendency on earned first down across the 50-yard line? What are some of the things offenses might be attacking us on? But, for me, safety-wise, it was good to see, are we giving anything away with our stances? You're able to look, because, when you get in the season, you're studying the opponent so much. So it's always good to be able to take a step back and kind of look inward and, study Brian Branch, study Kirby Joseph. What are you doing really well? What are you not doing so well? How can we maybe mix a few things up to keep the offense on their heels? What play calls have been good to us? What play calls haven't been good to us? And the play calls that haven't been good, why? Is it a personnel thing, or are we just not good at that? And, give Shep a chance to maybe re-emphasize some calls and maybe not emphasize some of the calls that we thought we were going to be good at. And we installed a lot of defense during training camp, and there's still quite a bit of calls we haven't even called yet. So that's good too, because you got calls that you kind of put in the bank during training camp that you got great reps in, and you haven't shown them yet, so you can pull them out, and the guys have cumulative reps already in those calls, so it's not like you're installing something new.
Hey, Jim, back to Brian for a minute.
Yeah.
What does a more motivated Brian Branch look like?
It's scary, because he's clearly one of the best players at his position in the league. So, but no, he's just so much fun to coach, just because of how coachable he is, and constantly wanting to get better. He does a great job watching film, does a great job coming to the meeting room with ideas or asking questions. Does a great job with his teammates, does a great job asking me about my family, stuff like that. So it's good to have him back.
With Kirby playing through that knee since training camp,
Yep.
really, and the ball production is still there, but how have you seen that injury limit or hamstring him at all through the first half of the season? Like, physically, plays he can't fully commit to, or I don't even know if that's the case, but how have
No,
you seen that?
I don't think. I think that he's doing a hell of a job fighting through it. I mean, he's working coach's hours, because he's here early in the morning getting treatment. He's in the meeting rooms getting treatment. He's doing everything. I know last week he spent the whole week, taking care of himself and doing some things out on his own. All right, to try to get himself right. But no, just how he's attacked it professionally, and how he's helped some of the young guys that have come in too. Because it's always great, when you get new guys. You coach them up, you have extra meetings, you teach them our system, and then when you have older, experienced guys that can kind of give it to him from a player's perspective, or help him in certain situations. He's been outstanding with all that stuff. But when he goes, I haven't seen a drop off. I think he's been the same Kirby that we're all used to seeing. I'm sure there's a few plays this year that he would like to have back. You know what I mean? But that's with everybody. It's not a game of perfect.